Today on the Now, the opioid epidemic has more schools adding drug testing for kids, some as young as 11. But we're learning this is happening as fewer schools require drug prevention programs. And an experiment is giving out $500 a month, no strings attached. We're looking into how that's working and the proposals to do something like this for even more people. Cell phones can be a big distraction at schools, and that's why more places are banning them. But why it's not kids, but parents who may be more to blame than we realize.
Thank you, Annie. Welcome to the Now Indy on RTV6. I'm Amanda Starantino. Tonight, Metro Police need your help to find the woman in this surveillance video here. She's accused of causing thousands of dollars in damage to a local gas station in just a couple of minutes. The incident happened at the Shell gas station in the 3400 block of North Sherman Drive on August 30th around 6 p.m. IMPD says the woman realized she made a mistake after she had asked the clerk to put $10 on the wrong pump. When the employee told her it would take 24 hours for the charge to be reversed on her credit card, she became extremely upset. Investigators say the woman caused between $2,500 and $3,000 in damage. If you know who this woman is, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. And right now, police in Marion, Indiana are investigating fake $100 bills circulating around the Grant County town. This is what they look like. Police say they found out about the fake money because a business owner was tailing the suspect. When officers pulled the suspect over, they say they found at least 10 counterfeit $100 bills in the man's car, along with other currency. Police believe he hit Papa John's, Dunkin' Donuts, Dollar General, Family Dollar, and CVS.
All right, let's play. Name this location. You got it? Can you see, Amanda?
I'm looking.
You know, they were telling me in my ear. I'm confident. That's a pagoda. That's a Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
It is very green.
I know, isn't it? That's the thing that always shocks me is just how many trees there are anywhere you look in the downtown area. But
it's a busy place over there right now.
Exactly. The Hauler Parade is on Friday. They got some dirt track racing tonight, and then the actual race as we get to the weekend. All right. Temperatures in central Indiana cooler than yesterday's 85 degrees. Humidity is down as well thanks to the nice breeze. This north wind will stay calm really over the next 24 hours, and it just continues to bring in the cooler temperatures. 76 at 7 o'clock tonight, 65 at 10 with clear skies. I do think we'll see a little patchy fog first thing in the morning. There are your shocking temperatures for tomorrow morning. Lower to middle 50s. Enjoy.
Today, rescue crews are getting a better idea of the damage in the Bahamas from Hurricane Dorian as they struggle to reach survivors. Chris Stewart has a look at efforts to help.
Life is getting back to normal here in Cocoa Beach today. We saw some wind and rain overnight, but while this part of Florida, as well as much of Florida's coastline, really lucked out that this storm stayed offshore, it is a storm that has already done so much damage in the Bahamas.
There's a little baby here, there, a boy there.
The videos are difficult to watch.
It came over the roof. I would imagine 21 feet at least. We were doing all right until the water kept coming up and all the appliances were going around the house like a washing machine.
The stories are hard to imagine.
My poor little wife got hypothermia and she was standing on top of the kitchen cabinets until they disintegrated.
Howard Armstrong was rescued from the waters that rushed into his home. His wife didn't survive.
I kept with her and she just drowned on me.
Now aerial images are showing the widespread damage Dorian left behind. This is video of the U.S. Coast Guard flying over what is now a disaster zone. On the ground, there's a rush to find those still missing.
A lot of people we can't even find at the moment. Families uncountable for at the moment. My brother's wife, we can't even find her at this moment. The last time he said she was clinging onto a piece of cardboard or try to stay afloat, and we found him stuck in a tree.
People are trying to provide relief. This GoFundMe, started by a nonprofit, has already raised tens of thousands of dollars. The Red Cross believes Dorian severely damaged or destroyed more than 13,000 homes. The United Nations thinks 60,000 people will need food, 62,000 will need clean drinking water. But until that help arrives, volunteers will continue to use boats and jet skis to search for survivors in areas run over with water.
But the rescue goes on. We have a lot of people supporting us. Everybody working as a team right here, you know. It's very hard, but you know what I'm saying, but we shall overcome. but we are getting survivors as we go.
Well, the Coast Guard has already airlifted more than 20 people injured by this storm, and the Red Cross is putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into the relief effort. But all of this is just the beginning of what will be a very long recovery process for the islands and the people who call them home. I'm Chris Stewart reporting.
Thanks, Chris. Ahead in the lineup, more schools are drug testing students, but does it help prevent kids from using? We're talking with drug prevention experts.
This is the Now Indy on RTV6. Today, a Northside community is still continuing its push to get a popular area redeveloped what it says is the right way. The group Glendale Done Right is fighting to voice neighbors' concerns over the redevelopment of the area of Glendale Town Center at 62nd and Keystone. Nearby homeowners don't object to new construction. In fact, they say they welcome it. But they say the current plans need some additions, such as better drainage plans, more green space, and better traffic signals at nearby intersections.
We need to make it bike-friendly, pedestrian-friendly, let people connect from Glendale to Broad Ripple and from Glendale to the Keystone Corridor south of Kessler, which is economically challenged and needs a good shot in the arm.
At a meeting today, the development petitions for this area were approved for the initial phases of the project. Community activists say they will continue to push for thoughtful additions to the plans.
With another school year getting into full swing, more students are coming home with new requirements. Drug tests. The number of school districts randomly or requiring drug testing for students is increasing, especially for athletics and extracurricular activities. At last count, nearly 40% of districts were included. The executive director of Drug Free America Foundation says they're in favor of anything that might prevent a young person from using.
I think that it's got to be used in a combination with something else. And it also has to be used as a tool to identify, problematic behavior and risk factors, not as a punishment. It can't be something that's punitive where we're expelling the kids from school, taking them out of the activities that might be helpful for them to remain drug-free.
At the same time, drug and substance abuse programs in schools are decreasing, something that has proven to be effective in the past.
I think that in the era that I grew up in, which was the Nancy Reagan Just Say No era, that's when we had the DARE programs in school and other substance abuse programs to help prevent this type of activity. And at that time, the nation saw a huge decrease in youth substance use.
The research on drug testing students preventing drug use is mixed, and the American Academy of Pediatrics does not recommend it. Well, parents involved in the college admission scandal may have to pay less than initially thought. This comes as a judge considers the question, did the actions of parents do financial harm to anyone? Also, the University of Southern California allegedly included the wealth of families when they considered students. That's according to emails that were released yesterday. Now, a spokeswoman says they don't hide the fact that they flag candidates or give special attention. Well, back to our lineup. Getting $500 a month, no strings attached. It's actually an experiment that's happening now.
I think poverty is immoral. I think it's antiquated, and I think it shouldn't exist.
That mayor is behind the idea. How that's working and why this idea could become a reality for even more people.
RTV6 is working for you.
Checking in on the Now newsfeed, McCarran Airport in Las Vegas is testing several new methods of security screening. Now, one piece of the equipment verifies documents through a secure database. Another improves the physical screening of luggage by giving agents a 3D look. And right now, the testing is only done about 4 hours a day. Well, the cost of funerals are dropping in the U.S. That's because cremations have become a more popular option. Cremations have outnumbered funerals for the past 4 years, and experts say baby boomers are a big reason for the shift in trends. And a new study finds that schools are becoming more segregated because of district boundaries. The research also says this doesn't just cause issues racially, but there are disparities in the availability of resources. And as a result, some districts nationwide are intentionally looking to create more diversity among student populations. Well, the idea of universal basic income is getting new attention thanks to the 2020 presidential race. Candidate Andrew Yang wants to give every American $1,000 a month. Meanwhile, Senator Kamala Harris has a different proposal to give working families up to $500 a month. But this idea is getting a test run in Stockton, California right now. This isn't connected to Yang's or Harris's campaign promises, but what happens in Stockton could give us an idea if their ideas would work. And since February, 125 people who live at or below the city's median household income, or just over $46,000, have been getting $500 a month.
It meant a lot. I feel very blessed. I feel very good about it, just to have the chance to have it. I feel more independent. I feel more like I'm in charge. Like I really have something that's my own.
That woman who's part of the experiment is looking for work, and she says the extra money helps her pay her cell phone bill, her dog's vet bills, and to spoil her grandchildren for the first time. Private donations are paying for this project, but critics include labor unions who want well-paid jobs, not small payments with no opportunities for advancement.
It also is pushed entirely almost by the tech sector, which is trying to automate away jobs and make it more difficult for people to get a good job in this economy.
The presidential candidates who are proposing a universal basic income want to pay for it by increasing taxes on billionaires and corporations. The Stockton experiment runs through July 2020. Researchers say they'll measure its success based on the participants' happiness. Well, new money is coming to help fight the opioid epidemic today. The CDC says it is giving $301 million to states. The goal is to better understand who is overdosing and why it's happening. The CDC plans to use this information to improve prevention and response efforts across the country.
If you need your phone repaired, there's always Best Buy or the Apple Store, or you can use a cell phone kiosk in the mall, which are often quicker and cheaper. But working for you, John Matarese has a warning about some of those kiosks so you don't waste your money.
Ever bring your cell phone to a mall kiosk for a new case or a screen repair? Well, one woman did that and says her phone came back broken. It's a warning to everyone with an expensive phone. Danielle Scruggs cracked the screen on her iPhone a few weeks back and decided it was time to get it replaced.
We were walking through the mall and saw this kiosk and we're like, why not?
So she handed off the phone at this kiosk. A half hour later, she had a new screen, but a new problem too.
It kept turning on and off, got to the car, it wouldn't charge.
She says it was fine an hour earlier.
I'm assuming the screen replacement because the phone worked perfectly fine before.
So the tech told her to FedEx the phone to the chain's lab for repair, but when it came back,
still not working.
Have you been able to talk to any managers?
It won't give us like the manager's number or anything, or the owner's number or the name.
But it turns out almost all third-party cell phone repair facilities make you sign a waiver when you drop your phone off. It might be on paper, it might be on an iPad, but either way, it releases them of any responsibility for damages. We made calls and finally tracked down the franchise manager, who said they will refund her $100 screen fee. But he explained they will not pay for a new phone because phones with broken screens often have pre-existing problems. And their waiver specifically says not liable for damages. Danielle says next time she'll
go to Apple
with the new iPhone she just purchased. Cell phone kiosks can be great for a new case or screen protector, but remember, they may not be liable for any damage that happens there, so be careful so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese for RTV6.
I'm going to show you the Great Pyramids. There they are on the northwest side of Indianapolis. I always loved those. It's pretty iconic in the Indy area. You see those along 465. A little bounce to the camera, but not much. The wind generally light, 10 miles per hour or less. Temperature just about 80 degrees. The biggest change from yesterday, we're 6 degrees cooler, but we've lowered the humidity level, and that's here to stay for a little bit. Temperatures very comfortable this evening. Will fall off to 66 at 11 o'clock tonight. The recipe, the ingredients there for patchy fog in the morning. Clear sky, light wind, some moisture at the ground level, so I think we'll see some patchy fog first thing in the morning. Temperatures, they'll warm to about 76 or 77 tomorrow afternoon. Notice the wind just northeast at 5 miles per hour. This is with extremely low humidity, making it another spectacular September day. Temperature should be 82 degrees this time of year, and you can see we're falling short of 80. 78 in Bloomington and Columbus. Temperatures to the north only a couple degrees cooler. As we break down hourly forecast, temperatures by noon already at 70 and beyond. on. Let's look at Friday. A few more clouds around. Clouds, but no rain the way we see it now with the humidity low. There's a cold front that comes through, but it really shouldn't generate anything in the way of showers. Temperatures as we go into the early afternoon, low to mid 70s, 79 the afternoon temperature. And the change as we go to the weekend, at least a slight chance for a shower as we get to Sunday, but it's just a 20% chance. Talk about how things change early next week coming up.
Top of the Now news feed. The 5-year-old tossed from a balcony at the Mall of America is back home. The child fell 40 feet after a stranger picked him up and threw him over the railing. He just finished rehab and will continue his recovery at home. As for the man who threw him, he was sentenced to 19 years in prison. Bankruptcy could be in the future for Purdue Pharma. Reuters is reporting that the maker of OxyContin could take that path if there is no settlement in the cases it faces. The company is being sued over its connection to the opioid epidemic. It did propose a $10 to $12 billion settlement. Facebook is telling the Department of Homeland Security no. DHS wanted to make fake profiles to monitor people who want to come into the U.S. Facebook says that it's against the social network's rules and that it would remove fake accounts. Well, Instagram's popularity could be an issue heading into the 2020 election. A new study says the social media outlet could be a hub for fake information. A report from a Senate committee last year found malicious campaigns had more traction on Instagram as opposed to Twitter and Facebook. However, a lot of the focus has been on those outlets as opposed to Instagram. And Facebook is rolling out its facial recognition technology to all its users. That technology allows users to be identified in pictures. Right now, you have to opt in to take part in the program. Now, this change comes as Facebook faces a lawsuit regarding facial recognition technology. The suit claims Facebook used the technology to get data on millions of its users. Well, if your favorite work of art is yourself, then you'll want to visit the latest museums popping up around the country. They're in cities from coast to coast. It's a place where photos are not only encouraged, but required. They're called selfie museums, and we visited the latest one to open its doors. Now, I love taking a good selfie like the rest of us do, but sometimes they just fall flat. But if you want to step up your selfie game, this is where you have to come.
We are in Denver Selfie Museum. It's an interactive museum for Instagram fans, for those who love to take beautiful pictures and post them on Instagram.
It's definitely an unconventional art exhibit.
We position ourselves as an Instagram museum, which should automatically draw a crowd from millennials and younger generation.
Usually the generation who tends to be more interested in social media than museums. But this exhibit caught the eye of New Mexico resident Alexandria.
We seen this exhibit, so I thought it would be so cool to do. And I know the Instagram pictures are gonna come out super good.
Here at the Selfie Museum, to get a good photo, it's not just about the backdrop. They've given you props too. From bubbles to bananas, hello, to fans, and to giant chopsticks.
This is work of one of the local artists.
Igor and Alex enlisted the help of local artists in the creation of some of the installations.
Everything that you have that you see that's hand-drawn is done by local artists.
There are dozens of selfie museums around the country in cities like New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. And they plan to open their second location in Seattle.
It's a good 1 or 2 hours of your life that you spend here. You come out with a smile.
And of course, a good photo, caption, and hashtag, but with a price tag of $25. Pretty cool. Cell phones can be a big distraction at schools. That's why more places are banning them. But ahead in our lineup, why it's not kids but parents who may be more to blame than we realize. You're watching The Now.